Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm glad you're here because if you are, you care about conversational AI and how you can use it to build voice bots and chatbots. We're going to share a story about how WaFd Bank reduced their average customer call time for check balance requests by about 90%. My name is Shivi Gupta, and I'm a product manager with Amazon Lex, an AWS conversational AI service that you can use to build voice and chatbots. And joining me here are Dustin Hubbard, CTO at WaFd Bank, our esteemed customer, and a $20 billion full-service US bank based out of Seattle, and Fernando Igia, VP at TalkDesk, one of our leading contact center platform partners. Welcome, Dustin and Fernando. And we are going to walk you through how Amazon Lex and TalkDesk helped WaFd build a conversational AI solution that helped enhance the self-service experience of their end customers. I'll start with a brief introduction of conversational AI and then highlight some of the ways organizations are using Amazon Lex to improve customer engagement. Fernando will describe how customers are using TalkDesk to better manage call center operations. And then Dustin will talk about the WaFd use case and the solution they implemented to improve the experience of their end customers. This will be followed by our demo, where Dustin will showcase a typical interaction with the WaFd Customer Care Center. Towards the end, I'll also go over some of the ways you can quickly start building conversational AI solutions. We have a lot to cover, so let's get straight into it. We all know intuitively that customer experience is important. But how important is it? A PwC study tries to quantify it for us. 75% respondents stated that customer experience impacts their purchasing decision. Not only is it important at the time of purchase, but customers like to spend more on organizations that allow them to interact in their preferred channel and avoid agent contact altogether. When organizations meet customers in the channels they prefer, they're able to build trust. And 64% respondents stated that they find the information delivered via conversational AI solutions valuable. The pandemic has pushed several organizations to redefine and rethink their interactive platforms, but many still struggle to optimize customer experience as part of their businesses. Across our customer conversations, we noticed a few common challenges, such as long hold and resolution times. This typically happens due to unavailability of agents or when a caller has to go through multiple transfers to speak to the right agent. Oftentimes, customers are also forced to interact via a single communication channel, which can be quite painful. Imagine you're at the airport, it's noisy, you're trying to reschedule your flight, and you're on a call, but you want to actually move to text because of the background noise, but you're not able to do so. Organizations also lack insights on these kind of customer pain points, which makes it difficult for them to proactively address those issues and reduce churn. And lastly, they have high operational expenses because you're trying to maintain multiple interactive platforms and also retrain agents due to high turnover. And this is where conversational AI can help. Interactive platforms powered by bots can not only give organizations insights into customer pain points, but also reduce the overall operational costs and increase the service quality. Now I want to talk about how Amazon Lex can help you in your conversational AI journey. It can help build, you can use it to build conversational AI solutions that are natural, on-demand, and efficient. It enables sophisticated conversations with high-quality automatic speech recognition, natural language understanding, and ability to transact based on business logic. It also has a no-code visual builder. We just launched it. It's called Visual Conversation Builder. And it allows people with varying technical skill levels to actually come together and design a conversation. And lastly, it provides a scalable omni-channel experience because it easily integrates with any contact center platform and with channels such as Facebook Messenger and Slack, and of course, auto scales based on demand. Lex supports complex dialogue management to enable these sophisticated conversations. Let's take an example of a customer calling to buy a television set. Customer conversations often involve acronyms and brand names, and you can design the Lex bot to actually identify these terms. So here you'll notice how the bot correctly identifies that the customer is asking for a specific brand of Amazon Basics. Before placing the order, the bot also wants to confirm the identity of the caller. In order to do so, it takes the account number they have shared, does a data dip in the database, and fetches the corresponding maiden name. It does so prior to eliciting the maiden name from the caller. And this allows for it to match the names with higher accuracy versus if it had to match the last name that the customer provided with any that it had in its list. Sometimes when people are talking too fast, and if there's background noise, then part of the utterances that they're speaking can get mistranscribed. In these cases, you can design the bot to actually identify common terms, such as cities or countries, and resolve it accurately. So you will notice how the bot actually takes San Francisco and is able to identify that the customer is asking for delivery to San Francisco. And lastly, context is also very critical in conversations. Notice how the caller is saying that they want the delivery to happen Monday next week. Here, the bot knows that the conversation is happening at this time, and it's able to resolve that value to December 5. So using all these features in Lex, such as enhanced speech transcription, intelligent dialogue, contextual resolution, you can actually build a bot that sounds very lifelike. Amazon Lex can be used to build conversational AI solutions across multiple verticals, such as healthcare, retail, finance, as Dustin will talk about later. But before we do that, I also want to walk you through a public sector use case, where a caller tries to contact a DMV contact center. In the first stage, the caller calls and asks about what kind of credit cards are accepted. As this question is not specific to the caller, the bot can refer to a list of FAQs and respond quickly. In the second stage, the caller wants to renew their driver's license. For this purpose, the bot will share the cost of renewal and then take relevant information, such as credit card number, expiration date, to actually do the renewal process for the caller. You'll notice how the bot does this without involving an agent and is able to fulfill the whole transaction itself. In the last stage, the caller also wants to register their custom vehicle. This is the kind of scenario that involves a human agent. So the bot collects relevant information, such as the make and model of the vehicle, and then transfers the call to the agent. This is crucial because in doing so, the bot has helped increase agent productivity and call handle volume. Previously, I referred to how we have few features that makes Amazon Lex quite easy to use. Of course, there's the visual builder, so that your engineering teams or members across the design team can get together, design a conversation quickly. We also have automated chatbot designer, where you can feed a conversational transcript and get a baseline bot definition, and this tends to save our customers a lot of days and resources. Lastly, we also have a bunch of pre-built solutions that can help you kickstart your conversational AI journey. Lex is also scalable and provides an omni-channel experience. We have pre-built connectors with multiple contact center platforms, such as Amazon Connect and TalkDesk. And this allows us to provide flexibility to our customers. Our customers are global. They speak a variety of languages. We support multiple locales, and also provide the ability to customers to create their own unique brand voices as needed. It's omni-channel because it integrates with SMS, Facebook Messenger, and Slack. And also, it scales based on demand, so you can serve multiple customers without any latency. So now that you have all the tools to start building your conversational AI solution, I quickly want to go over some of the common implementation patterns that we have seen with our customers. On one end of the spectrum, we have customers who design a self-service bot which fulfills a transaction, answers questions, and can update backend servers without involving a human agent. On the other end of the spectrum, we have bots that are solely for the purpose of routing a caller to the right agent. So in a case of a bank, it'll transfer a call to one agent for a loan application query and another agent for a card delivery service. And somewhere between these two, we have the third kind of implementation, where when a caller calls in, it interacts with the bot in the initial stages, where the bot collects certain information before passing it off to an agent. So in a scenario where you call, let's say, to reschedule your flight, you'll first interact with the bot, who will take your booking ID, understand your travel dates, and then pass it on to an agent and have that information surface up on their desktop when they're calling you. This has multiple benefits, because it saves time for both the caller and the agent, because they're not asking you the same questions again. The caller gets mapped to the right agent, so they save time. And overall, it increases agent productivity as well. Many organizations are moving from intelligent routing to self-service in order to automate their contact center operations and improve customer experience. And many have done so using Amazon Lex. Today, we have one of our leading contact center partners, TalkDesk, and I want to invite Fernando on stage to discuss how they helped WaFd build a conversational AI solution.
Wonderful, Shivi. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you to you. Thank you to the AWS team, to Dustin from Washington Federal Bank for your partnership. I'm thrilled to be here because this is the story of how three companies, three customer-obsessed companies, WaFd Bank, TalkDesk, and AWS, work together to reimagine what's possible at Washington Federal. Together, we're transforming the customer and the agent experience at Washington Federal by bringing together the most innovative, the leading platforms, two of the most leading platforms, the TalkDesk Cloud Contact Center and the AWS Conversational AI platform together to bring WaFd's vision to life. And I'm thrilled today to share the role that TalkDesk is playing in this transformation. So if you haven't heard of us, you probably don't live on this planet. TalkDesk is a global contact center leader, global cloud contact center leader. We were born in the cloud. We've never had a premise contact center solution to worry about. That means that we're fast, we're nimble, we're innovative. All of our resources, all of our investments are dedicated to delivering cutting-edge innovation to our customers. We're a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for Contact Centers as a Service for 4 years in a row. And in fact, we're the youngest company to ever make into this quadrant. We're also number 8 on the Forbes Cloud 100 list of the fastest growing companies. And we're customer obsessed. We're relentless about making our customers successful with a customer satisfaction score of more than 95%. So we know what it takes to get the job done. We're also very proud to be part of the AWS Contact Center Intelligence Program. And I would like to talk about how we're helping Washington Federal bring to life the vision of self-service automation. So this slide was part of the business case that was presented to WaFd. So if you assume a loaded average agent cost of $24 an hour with a 70% occupancy, and let's say a 6-minute average handle time, the cost per interaction to speak to a live agent boils down to $3.43. When we're able to successfully automate that interaction within a chatbot and fully resolve it without speaking to an agent, the cost goes down to 16 cents. That's a 95% cost reduction while improving the customer experience. That's how we're helping Washington Federal. We're also helping them address 3 primary challenges across the organization. And those challenges aren't new. In fact, they've been around for a long time. The difference is that with conversational AI, now we can solve them faster, cheaper, better, and at scale. The first one was the need to increase customer service automation with a focus on the customer experience. A poorly designed, automated self-service experience is the #1 source of customer dissatisfaction. We've all experienced this. Just imagine you start your journey on the website, You can't find what you need, you call into the contact center. You have to back up, re-explain yourselves. We get transferred, context doesn't follow. The organization doesn't remember who you are and what you did. That's a major source of customer dissatisfaction. So at Washington Federal and in partnership with AWS, we're solving all of those problems. We're developing automated self-service experiences that are as delightful, if not more delightful, than ones without automation. The second is how we use AI and speech and text analytics to understand why customers are calling and identify customer pain points and proactively address issues that are affecting your customer experience, while at the same time, as you will see later on in the demonstration, how we use AI and speech and text analytics to monitor what customers are saying so that we can build more automation. And then last on the right is how do we help agents? So in the age of AI, where everything that can be automated is being automated, the role of the human being is more important than ever. Because what's left over after that automated self-service experience tends to be the more complex interactions. Those are the moments that can either make or break the relationship you have with your customer. And here, emotion, a unique human trait, is key. It's a core competency that contact centers have to master. People will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So here we're using AI to empower the agent to focus less on what to say to the customer that's right in front of them, and more on how to say it, to create empathy and improve NPS. So now I want to bring it all together by being more specific and talking about the role that TalkDesk is playing in the Washington Federal Solution Architecture. So across the top, you see the three primary challenges that we're helping Washington Federal solve. Then you see the customer journey. Our role is to help WaFd shift left. The more we can help the WaFd and our customers shift left towards self-service automation, the more we're going to improve the customer experience while reducing costs, as we've seen. So down at the bottom, there are several components, key components to the solution. I'm only going to touch on the most important ones. The first, on the left, is the TalkDesk Voice Biometrics Identity Verification solution. This, folks, is a game changer. So WaFd is using this. And what problem does it solve? So first of all, it's the issue of security. If we're asking customers to authenticate themselves using information they know, what's your last four of your social security number, what's your mother's maiden's name, we may be creating a security challenge. With voice biometrics, this is the highest form of security. It's just like your fingerprint. It's very easy to spoof information you know, but it's nearly impossible to fake who you are. Secondly, if you're asking your customers those questions, it's likely you're frustrating them. It's just like inviting a friend over to dinner. And just imagine if your reaction was, who are you? What do you want? Sounds funny, but we do the same in business. We invite customers to do business with us. And when they reach out into the contact center, the first reaction is, who are you? What do you want? With biometrics, you know exactly who is calling, because the voice is unique to you. It's like your fingerprint. You can greet people by name, which is a wonderful thing. And it also saves a ton of money. All right, so let's imagine if it's taking your agents a minute to authenticate your customers. With voice biometrics, we can cut a minute out of every call. So assume a 5-minute average handle time. That's a 20% savings immediately to your bottom line. So let's move over to the middle. Virtual agent voice, virtual agent digital. This is your voice bot. This is your chat bot. So TalkDesk is an open platform. So customers can use the bots that we have on our platforms out of the box, or they can bring their own, which was the case of Washington Federal. Dustin from WaFd had already built his bot on Lex. He had a chat bot and a voice bot. The wonderful thing with TalkDesk is that it's incredibly simple to integrate with Amazon Lex. In fact, all it takes, you select Lex from list of menus, from a menu list, you put in your credentials, and you're done. There's no additional integration required. It's like magic. We're making the complex simple. Moving over to the right, Agent Assist. We talked about the role of the human handling more complex interactions. So here we're using AI to listen to the conversation between the agent and the customer in real time. And the bot is looking for things where it knows it can help the agent resolve the case faster, more correctly, more consistently, and more delightfully. So we've seen a 24% reduction in average handle time with this solution. So down at the bottom, interaction analytics. So we talked a little bit about this. The reality is that only 1% of every recorded call gets properly analyzed. Think about it. So with speech and text analytics, we're opening up 100% visibility across all your contact center conversations. So once again, so you can identify the customer pain points and proactively address issues affecting the customer experience. And I'm going to move over to the bottom. So that's last, but it's not least. That's the TalkDesk AI Trainer human-in-the-loop solution. So for all of us who have been involved with conversational AI and machine learning, we know that 50% of the challenge in a conversational AI project happens post-deployment. Why? Because AI is only as good as the data we feed into it. The problem is that data is always changing. So you build your bot, 3-6 months later, the bot starts losing effectiveness. And training your machine learning models post-deployment can be a very time-consuming and very challenging process. With the TalkDesk AI Trainer solution, for Lex, natively integrated to Lex, we can use non-technical users, such as your own agents, to train the Lex models post-deployment, shortening a process that takes days or weeks down to minutes with a higher accuracy and a lower cost. So folks, to conclude, why am I so excited about the journey and the transformation with AWS and Washington Federal? Simply stated, together we have the most complete, fully integrated suite of AI solutions ready to deploy today. Why does that matter? Because if you try to piece those components together by yourselves, the integration challenge is too expensive. It might stifle innovation. We're delivering unprecedented speed of innovation at a time when speed is the essential competitive differentiator. So with that, I would like to call my friend Dustin to come over on stage and talk about the transformation he's leading at Washington Federal Bank.
Thanks, Fernando. Hi, everybody. It's finally my turn to talk. It's great to be here. I'm Dustin, and I guess I should advance the slide. I want to talk to you about what we've been doing at Washington Federal and really reimagining the customer journey. As you can imagine, banking is a highly competitive industry, and how well you can service your customers plays a critical role in your ability to grow and retain your customers. But one thing that we know is calling a call center is pretty much the same everywhere, right? You call into a phone system, listen to a long list of menu options, the dog barks in the background, so you miss which one you needed to hit, you pick the wrong option, you sit on hold for 15 to 20 minutes, get to an agent, still has no idea why you're calling, who you are, or how to help you. It's incredibly frustrating, and we've all been in that situation. None of us likes picking up the phone and calling the call center, but sometimes you actually have to do it. That's the problem I really set out to solve with AWS and TalkDesk. But let me tell you a little bit about WaFd Bank, because many of you probably haven't heard of us. We've been around for over 100 years. We're based out of Seattle. It's where I live. We're down the West Coast, essentially, operating out of 8 states. We have over 200 branches. We're about a $21 billion asset under management bank. And we actually just celebrated our 40th anniversary on NASDAQ. I was there 2 weeks ago and got to actually ring the bell. It's really cool. Now, one thing to know about legacy banks is they're filled with a lot of legacy technology and legacy thinking. But at WaFd, we're different. I have a very forward-looking executive team. And it was a few years ago that they recognized that if they wanted to stay competitive and relevant, they actually needed to transform themselves into a digital-first company. And the way that they did that was first by hiring some very high-profile technology executives to join the board of directors. And that led to eventually them hiring me and my team to start working on reimagining what was possible. And we've been doing that for the last 3 years now. But it was about a year ago that I started to kind of dive into the call center space specifically, and that's kind of where our story begins. So one thing to know about banking, unlike maybe some other industries, it still happens across virtually all channels. It's not just limited to a mobile app. We still have customers that visit branches, they call in the call center, they send in emails, they do chats, they blow you up on social media. They're basically, customers are always contacting us through a variety of channels. And some of these questions are very mundane, right? Forgot my password, what's the bank's routing number? And others are actually pretty complicated. So by using Amazon's Lex conversational AI, we can effectively interpret what it is a client is asking and then determine whether it's better to serve them with an automated response or to get them to the correct person. But the truth is, a lot of companies, they actually use contact center tools and chatbots as a way to make it harder to reach somebody, which personally as a consumer I find extremely irritating. And so part of my criteria when we were building the solution was I never wanted to make it more difficult to actually reach a human being. But I also didn't want you to have to talk to a human being if it's something that the bot could actually handle for you. And so another thing to think about is fraud when you're talking about banking, because a lot of people call into the banks and try to impersonate that they're another person. And the traditional banks, what they do is they say, they're trying to verify who it is on the other end of the line. What's your mother's maiden name? What's the last 4 of your social security number? Things that have probably been sold on the dark web 100 times over, frankly. I don't think they're very secure. So another criteria of mine was to have voice biometrics as part of our solution, because I wanted a way to be certain that when someone called in, we could prove their identity, which then lowers, obviously, fraud for our customers. So any rate solution, you really need to approach it from the eye of the customer. Because the customer, it shouldn't matter what channel they select to receive the help. In our previous systems, our legacy system that I replaced was pretty terrible at that. We had a 25-year-old IVR system that did virtually no self-help, took painfully long to navigate. And again, once you got to a call center agent, they had no idea really why you were calling. Furthermore, the chatbot that the team had previously deployed, the marketing department, had no integration with that back-end call center solution. Therefore, when people would call in or chat and escalate to an agent, a lot of times the agents actually weren't logged into the other system. So those went unaccounted for, causing more customer frustration. So when I started looking at technical solutions, my primary criteria were no call center tree to navigate. Maybe I'm just really impatient, but I find that totally irritating. So I wanted you to just be able to say what it is you're looking for and have the bot figure out what it wanted, what you needed. Have a method to authenticate you in every channel. So whether you're coming in through chat or through voice or any other channel, we should be able to authenticate who you are, which also opens up a wider variety of how we can service you, which you'll see later. And also make it easier, not harder to reach for somebody, because ultimately, when you want to talk to somebody, you don't want a bunch of gates in the way trying to make it difficult. So finally, we can get to the demo. I can show you some of the things of what we mean. All right, I'm going to show you what we previously had. I mean, I warn you in advance, it's a little bit painful. That's by design. I'm going to make you sit through a little bit of it. But I think everyone can relate to the following scenario.
Welcome to WaFd Bank. Our client care center wants to ensure that you receive the highest quality service. As a result, the call may be recorded. To better serve you, our menu options have changed. Please listen to the options available. For checking and savings balance inquiries, please press 1. For debit card inquiries, please press 2. For credit card inquiries, please press 3. For online banking inquiries, please press 4.
You bored out of your minds yet? That basically is, we've all lived through that, right? It's terrible. I could have let that run for another 4 minutes. Another 4 minutes. And then eventually it would say, type in your 16-digit account number and I'll tell you how much money is in your bank account. I decided to spare everyone in the audience that. By the way, have you ever noticed every phone system tells you to listen carefully? The call menu options have recently changed. I've never understood how that's possible. Every phone system, the menus have recently changed. I always find that funny. Anyway, these IVRs, as they're known, are really like 25 years old, and newer technologies exist now to modernize this. The advent of biometrics, speech-to-text, and conversational AI can be brought together to give customers a more secure, reliable, and less frustrating experience. So let's see what the new experience looks like. Call WaFd Bank.
Calling WaFd Bank.
Welcome to WaFd Bank. In order to authenticate using your voice, please say, "My password is my voice," and then press any key to continue.
My password is my voice.
Hi, Dustin. How can I help you today? You can say things like, "What's my balance?" "Make a transfer," or speak to an agent.
How much is in my account ending in 6612?
Please allow me the time to retrieve some information. The current available balance for your free checking account ending in 6612 is $546.67. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Are you a human?
Hi, I am the WaFd assistant. I'm available 24/7 to help you with your banking needs. How can I help you today?
I lost my debit card.
Okay, I'll transfer your call to someone who can help with card support.
Can you believe the difference between those two experiences? It's like night and day. So let me talk you through a few of the things that you just heard. First of all, while I could have said, "What's my balance?" or even "Show me the money," the bot would have said, "Great, I need to know what account you're talking about if you have multiple accounts." But I could shortcut that whole experience by just listing the last four of my account number. That's because the bot's able to pick up on those what are called slot intents to know, oh, he said his account number already. I don't need to prompt them for that. The second thing is, when I asked the bot whether it was human, it obviously replied with something, an auto response. But the fact is, we look at the conversational logs that every person who's interacting with the bot, everything they're saying is basically going into our Amazon data lake. And so by looking at what people are asking, we then add new auto responses. And yes, people ask whether it's human, so then we put it in there. Now, the last thing you noticed was I said I lost my debit card. At WaFd, we have two cards. We have a debit card and a credit card. So if I'd said I lost my card, the bot would have said, "You talking about your debit or credit card?" But because I said I lost my debit card, it knew, OK, he's talking about a debit card, so it actually put me to the right call center agent. If I'd said credit card, it actually would have routed me to a different scenario. The amazing thing is, Lex is really a headless technology, and so while I've applied it to voice, we've also extended it to chat. I'm going to have Fernando join me on stage for this part. And I'm going to kind of run the demo and kind of talk over it, because in this case, there is no audio. So what you're going to notice is I'm going to start by hitting check balance. The bot realizes I'm not logged in, so it asks me to authenticate. The next thing I'm going to do is put in my online banking credentials, which is basically logging me into the system automatically. And now we've brought back the account balances and done pagination so you could see them. But now I can continue my banking experience all from the chatbot. So let's say I want to make an internal transfer. I can actually just type in, make an internal transfer, and the bot will see that I'm already logged in. So it will just ask me, what account do you want to transfer from? What account do you want to transfer to? How much money do you want to move? What day do you want to set it up? Do you want this to be a future transfer, a recurring transfer? How many times do you want the transfer to happen? That's all possible within the bot, because at the end of the day, if I've already logged in, why should I make the customer go back to their online banking or mobile app to do this? Now, the next thing you'll see is by monitoring those same logs like we do in voice on chat, we can also see other questions people are asking the bot. So in this case, if someone says holiday hours, then we just do auto responses by pointing them back to the website. Now finally, you're going to see I'm going to give the bot a low rating of 2. And it's been programmed to say, he's probably not very happy, so let me get you to an agent. So I'm going to transition to Fernando here.
Okay, folks, so now we're changing screens. You're looking at the TalkDesk agent desktop. So WaFd was looking for a solution that could integrate the chatbot and the voice bot they built on Lex with the contact center. What this means is seamless integration so that if a conversation with the bot needs to be escalated to the agent, that can be done seamlessly with full context. So remember, Dustin talked about being securely authenticated. Here we can see the customer's already authenticated. We can also see his name. And over on the left, we could see they gave us a 2 as a rating. Also could see their sentiment, which is extremely important. Because first, the customer doesn't have to repeat themselves. Second, because the agent knows the sentiment, they can create empathy and can address the issue appropriately. The second thing that Washington Federal was looking for was a solution that could do more than just the voice and the text channels. So they wanted to do things like a video session from the same interaction, be able to escalate to a co-browse session, and in the future, add more channels, such as, for example, WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, you know, who knows what. So here's an example. What you're seeing is from within the same session. The customer wants to start a live video session with the agent. So the agent generates a random security key, passes that key to the customer, and when they're ready, they can jump on a live video session from within the same conversation. So now in the session, let's imagine that the customer is interested in a credit card. So from here, the agent might be able to offer, let me walk you through the benefits of the credit card. And in fact, the agent should be able to even show exactly how to complete that credit card application process. So as you've seen, moving from talking to the bot to talking to the agent, seamlessly escalating to a video conversation, co-browse, a fully integrated omni-channel experience powered by TalkDesk. Back over to you.
Thanks, Fernando. Isn't that so cool? I mean, it's just so much better than what we've ever been able to give to our customers before. But again, I want to cover a few of the interesting things of the chat demo that are a little bit hard to maybe not quickly pick up on. The first was the fact that the bot knows which questions require authentication and which ones don't. And that's really important because you can design scenarios for both situations. If it sees that you need to be authenticated, it's going to prompt you to log in. If you ask a question that doesn't require to be authenticated, it won't force you to log in. If you're already logged in, you ask another question that requires you to be authenticated, it won't force you to log in again. But the ability to seamlessly move between channels from a chatbot to chatting with a live agent to moving to a live video call and ultimately doing screen share is the ultimate of reducing client friction. We all know what that normally looks like, which is what we described earlier. You end the chatbot, you call into the phone system, wait forever, and start it all over again. So this seamless interaction was key to what I wanted to build. And I think your customers deserve that level of frictionless help. They shouldn't have to just call back into the 800 number, even though they started online. So in the end, what really made this possible wasn't just the technology, it was the partnerships. AWS and TalkDesk and WaFd Bank, my team, really came together, and we had a Slack channel that was just filled with like 10 engineers that were just literally collaborating and building code together. We got this entire project launched in about 6 months, and that's because the partnership and the open-mindedness of everyone involved. So hopefully that demo gave you a sense of the things that we've been doing and the ability that conversational AI can provide for you and your customers. Now, the architecture shows some of the different pieces that come together to do this. And because the TalkDesk allows it to be multi-channel, that allows our agents to log into one system and obviously handle all those different interactions. And because looking up account details, making internal transfers, telling you how much is in your account balance requires API lookups, Amazon Lex basically makes Lambda calls into our APIs that allows us to retrieve things like account details. And finally, because all the conversations get registered in our data lake, that means we can go through and look at what people are saying and typing to the chatbot. I'll be honest, it's kind of entertaining sometimes to go through the data to see what people are typing. It's kind of funny. But all the technology combined allows the architecture to happen. And if you kind of think of the voice experience specifically, it's voice biometrics authentication. Then you're using Amazon Transcribe, which is taking what you're saying and translating that to text. That text is then used on Amazon Lex to go find the matching intent of what you said. If it can't find an intent, they have what are called fallback intents. And then finally, it's got to read it back to the person in a natural sounding voice, which is Amazon Poly. So it's a combination of tying all the services together that makes this all possible. Now, our bank handles about 500,000 contact center requests a year. And over 20% of the people that call are actually calling to check their account balance. I don't know why they don't use the mobile app, but they still call in to check their account balance through the phone. Just by having this solution can help deflect 20% of the calls that customers are currently doing. And Voice ID is allowing them to do that in seconds rather than minutes, as you saw earlier. So our customers benefit, obviously, because they have less friction. They can get through the system quicker. They don't have to prove their identity to the call center agent. And they can start a chat online and transition to live chat or even video. But our agents also benefit because no call center agent wants to be the one that got tricked by an imposter on their account and potentially cause someone to lose money. So it takes some of the pressure off the call center agents too, when they know when the person's coming through any of the channels, whether they've been authenticated or not. If you're voice enrolled and you fail voice enroll, if you fail the check, the voice ID check, or just don't answer it altogether, the agent sees that on their screen. So they know right away there's something probably wrong. But the most important thing to think about when you think of ROI, in my opinion, is happy customers. I mean, ultimately, that's what we're trying to solve here. So we're not done yet. We've just rolled this out over the last few months. But with the technologies we built, we have more scenarios we want to use. We want to continue using Amazon Comprehend, which is a way that you can do sentiment analysis on the chats. And the more that we can bring that sentiment into the agent experience, allows you to know how happy they are. But more, you can actually build a sentiment profile. You can find out if every interaction with that customer over time has actually been negative or positive. You start getting a better feel for your customer and how they feel about your company. And then we have more services we want to do for self-service, right? You should be able to activate your debit card or pause it if you lost it without having to call anyone or log into the banking portal. And ultimately extend into more channels like Fernando touched on, so we can meet customers where they're at. So by using biometrics, rich data, machine learning, we can create new experiences that our clients have never had before. It won't be too long in the future that I should be able to just walk into a branch and be greeted by name, where they say, "Hi, Dustin, are you here to finish the online banking application you submitted 15 minutes ago?" That's all possible with the architecture that we've built out. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to Shivi, let her wrap up.
Thank you, Dustin. I hope that demo gave you a sense of what all you can accomplish with conversational AI. I also want to just talk about a few resources you can use to kickstart your journey. We have workshops and trainings that can help accelerate the process, help you think through your business case, help you design your conversation. We also have solution architects and AWS Pro Serve that can help you in this journey as well. And lastly, we have contact center partners like TalkDesk and consulting partners and ISP partners who can also help you ideate. If you are keen on understanding more about the conversational AI space, I highly recommend checking out some of these sessions that are happening right here at re:Invent. And some more additional resources. These will lead to links of blog posts and articles that are, again, relevant to some of the pieces we just spoke about. Feel free to grab a picture so that you can have the QR code on your end. And
thank you, Shivi. All right, and so folks, it's been a pleasure sharing our story with you today. If you'd like to learn more about what we're doing with Washington Federal, please visit the TalkDesk booth. It's number 551. We will be pleased to continue this conversation. In the meantime, thank you very much.